Hey, welcome everybody to NiteLife Exchanges, where we talk about stuff that's got to do with the nightlife. And I'm going to bring on my co-host here today and every day, Tony. You there?
I'm here.
Hi, Tony.
Can't get rid of me. Hey, how's it
Yeah,
going?
it's going well. It's a time of year. It's award season.
It is
Um,
that.
so this weekend we have the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then later on, a couple of, like 2 months from now, we have the Tonys. But we also have something that we call the Cabaret Awards, which are the Mac Awards coming up. And
Yes.
so the excitement builds in our little industry, community, whatever word you want to use, as we approach the Mac Awards this year. And today, Tony, we have one of the Lifetime Achievement recipients. And let's just bring him on. And hopefully he's still with us.
He is still with
He's
us.
still with us.
See that?
Look at you, Mr.
He's
Ricky
still with us.
Ritzel. You're still with us
Still achieving.
and still achieving. So, Ricky Ritzel, welcome to Nightlife Exchanges.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Tony and Scott.
Yeah. And so, firstly, though, for transparency, which is so important, as we know in this day and age, always was, but we're really paying more attention to it now. Firstly, Ricky and I have been friends for over 40 years. We've known each other in this business in many different capacities. And both Ricky and I have actually been Mac presidents, over the course of these many years that Mac has been growing and changing and all of the different things that go on. So here
All
we are.
hail the Chiefs.
Yeah, and it's 2023, and there's still a Mac Awards, which is great. We're very happy for that. And apparently, Ricky, you've achieved a point in your existence where they've determined that um, you've achieved.
I had no, I was thunderstruck, shall we say,
Thunderstruck.
when I was when I was told this because, um, as you know, we lost one of our big pillars of cabaret, and that was Jay Rogers in November. And when Amy and Michael Kirk-Lane called or texted me to talk about something, I assumed it was getting ready for a small tribute to Jay at the awards.
Right.
And we managed a Zoom call, and this was back in November. This was like right after Jay, and maybe early December. And I was ready, and then Amy said to Michael, "Do you want to tell him?" And Michael said, "Amy, do you want to tell him?" Said, "No, you tell him. No, you tell him." And I'm like, "Tell me what?" And then they asked me if I would accept this honor, and I was like, "Hamina, hamina, 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 hamina." And it just, you're struck speechless.
Right.
And other award lifetime achievement award winners I've talked to said all the same thing. Marta Sanders, Karen Mason, they've all been like, huh, what?
Yeah. Well,
How did I get here?
I have to tell you, Ricky, that when I heard the news, Uh, it didn't surprise me at all. I mean, I've known you all of these years. You've had the amount of projects that you have touched, the amount of work that you have done, your body of work. It's incredible. I mean, you were there at the first Mac Awards, were you not? Now you didn't receive a Mac Award then.
I did that year,
Oh,
yeah.
see, tell
Scott,
us about
don't
that one,
37
short.
years ago.
huh? Yeah,
37 years.
and what was that for?
That was for a category that no longer exists.
Yeah. And you know,
8-track recording? What would that be? I'm trying to do the math.
Etched in stone.
there
Uh,
you go, chiseled.
it's
Chiseled.
supporting performer.
Oh,
It was
And
the very first MAC Awards because they were still finding their footing.
Mhm.
Because I won Best Supporting Performer in a one-person show.
so a lot of footing.
That's
And
talent.
yeah, that's something.
Look at that.
And that's the same year. Now that year they did it. Where was it? Was it at the Village Gate?
Oh yeah, it was the Village Gate for the first 3 years.
Yeah, and the legendary stories of the parties afterwards and the appetizers and all of that. Look, it's been a long run, but Mac is still around. And let's before we go about the talk about the actual Mac Awards show, I want to just talk about some of the projects that you have done. And how many Mac Awards do you have?
22.
But
Literally,
who's counting?
right? Well, he
But
is obviously. So back in
I
that's a
have
high
to.
number. You count
I,
well.
I need to find room for them.
Listen, back in the day, as we say, at the Duplex Cabaret down on Grove Street, when it was still on Grove Street, that little upstairs cabaret room, a show opened. Uh, a recording was made and it was sold on tapes, little cassette tapes. That show was 1938. What year was that? Because that the 1938 refers to the year that the music that's in the show came out and was presented. But what year was the actual show that you did?
We opened in February of '89.
Okay, and we have a little clip from that. You're at the Mac Awards with your partner in crime. And I say that with all sincerity, Spider Saloff. So Tony, let's get everybody to the Mac Awards. So that would have been probably 90, I would think.
Right.
All right.
Flashback 1990. Here we go.
It's time for walking. Grab a jug and cut a rug. I mean, this giant is jumping. Get your pig's feet beer and gin. There's plenty in the kitchen. Who is that just come in? Just look the way he's switching. Don't mind the hour, cause I'm in power. I got bail if we go to jail. I mean, this joint is jumping.
Joint jumping, he's really jumping. There's a spot is more hot, I mean, this joint is jumping. The pie hand is pumping, the dance is bumping. There's a spot is more hot, I mean, this joint is jumping. Shake your razors at the door, make sure you pay a quarter. Put the leather on the floor, grab anybody, her! This joint jumping, he's really jumping. We're up on the wagon comes, I mean, this joint is jumping. Real bumps and wagon comes, I mean, the joint is jumping. Real bumps and wagon comes, I mean, the joint is jumping.
And can I just say, when those awards were done in those years or whatever, there was such an excitement in the community
Well,
when the
can I
Mac
tell you, we were the last to perform out of all the reviews. And we had lost about 7 awards at that point. We had lost every award we were up for. And we just knew that it was like, let's just do it and get out of here. And and we were up against Forever Plaid and Closer Than Ever.
Oh, wow.
And when they
Two little
announced the
shows.
winners were 1938, evidently Maltby and Shire were visibly shaken
Overcome.
that this little show that could, it did. And I was out having a cigarette, I think, in front of Symphony Space. Spider comes running out saying, "Get in here, we just won,"
That's great. And
That's fantastic.
some of the
Isn't
other
it wild?
things over the years, there's also Schnazola, which was your Jimmy Durante show,
Right.
which I helped you produce at that time, and that was up for awards. And The Loungeliers.
Right, Loungeliers got
Let's
one.
not forget the Loungeliers. I mean, Ricky, you've done so many. You've kind of touched in. Is there anything that you still want to do that now that you've achieved a lifetime achievement?
Well, as a matter of fact,
Got to keep working.
um, I'm opening a new show, or actually, it's a big group effort on March 30th
Yeah,
at Don't Tell Mama
very
called
excited
Get
for it.
Out, and it's a tribute to Pittsburgh,
What
a
is it
loving
again?
tribute to Pittsburgh.
Say it one
I'm
more
sorry?
time. Say the title one more time.
A Get Out, which is Get Out in Pittsburghese,
Exactly why I wanted you to say it again.
and and it's me and Aaron Lee Battle and Mary Ellen Ryan, and we're all from Pittsburgh, and we've been working on this show all together with our director Jim Lazar. Um, I've been working on it over a year, but it's slow going, and everything else comes in the way. And I was doing Ricky Ritzel's Broadway every month up until last November.
That was also an extremely successful series.
We did 8 years. It was
Yeah.
amazing, and I'm going to do 2 or 3 a year. We're doing the next one in April, which is going to be Ricky Ritzel's off Broadway.
Oh, cool.
So we're doing the Fantastics and Nonsense and getting my act together and stuff like that.
Amazing stuff. You've always done amazing stuff. Now, the thing with Pittsburgh is, for anybody, I mean, honestly, it's a remarkable place in that so many cabaret people and performers came from Pittsburgh, including Jamie DeRoy as a producer but performer, Billy Porter, who may not admit that he was ever in cabaret, was what do you think it was? The water or just what made Pittsburgh such a boiling place where things came up and pop? Here came cabaret
Well,
out of Pittsburgh.
it's weird. I always say I would have stayed in Pittsburgh if I could have made a living there. And I did pretty good there. I opened a couple piano bars, and I think the thing is, New York, Pittsburgh was such a melting pot. It's such a blue collar up until the past 50 years.
Mhm.
Blue collar community that every nationality, we all got along basically. It was like there were fights, but there were still camaraderie.
Right.
And I think if you were born with any kind of artistic talent, you really, I mean, you couldn't really stay there and try to make a go at it. You went to L.A., you went to New York, you went to
Right.
Chicago. A few visual artists did okay there. John Kane, Mary Cassatt, some writers like Mary Roberts Reinhardt, and Gertrude Stein got out quick.
Sure. On a
She was-
rail.
And it was a matter of urgency as far as getting your talent recognized.
Mhm.
There was nowhere for me to go but New York, anyhow.
Yeah.
And
boy, we've been so grateful to have you here. I really, you've been an anchor for so many things that have happened in the live performance business with cabaret and nightlife over all of these years. By the way, there's another awards ceremony, the Bistro Awards. So, everybody, the thing about these award shows are, number one, it's giving recognition to what's happening in our business. And
so
also,
far, have you noticed, Scott, that the recipients of a few of the lifetime achievements this year are all piano players?
Good.
The Bistros are giving it to Ronnie White and Daryl Sherman.
Yeah. And it used to be you couldn't have this business without the songwriters.
Right.
And they never got enough credit. And I'm glad that the piano, because you can't have this business without the piano players, without the pianists, without those people that are the maestros. And Ronnie White is inspired. I'm very pleased about that, and as well as Daryl's been worked so hard. So that is remarkable and wonderful that it's happening. Again, going to these shows also gives you a sense of who else is in this group of people that are crazy enough to invest. I mean, let's face it, it costs the expense of doing it and all that. It's a labor of love. You have fortunately been able to make a living at it here in New York, Ricky, and but I know that it's dedication. I'm thrilled that you've got the new show coming back. You said that's when is that?
March 30th.
March 30th. So it's coming up soon. Folks,
Thursday,
get out there to see Ricky. And the MAC Awards are.
I don't know if it's spelled
Tuesday,
right, but
April
I
4th.
quickly did a banner for it. So
There you go.
get out, but it's not pronounced that way. Say it one more time.
Get GIT
Oh,
at AHT.
Exactly. It's very similar to Brooklynese, Tony. As a matter of fact, the people of Pittsburgh and the people of Brooklyn have a lot in common when it comes to being a place where there was a lot of different people put together, and it was a mishmash, if I could use that word, and an incredible amount of talent.
such language.
Came. Yeah, the talent from Brooklyn was easier. It came over the bridge into Manhattan. Ricky had to take a 9-hour drive. Listen, the MAC Awards are Tuesday, April 4th at Symphony Space. We want to say, like I said, we've been around for a long time. We know the ups and downs, the ins and outs, and all the stories. Bottom line is the MAC Awards are still here in 2023, celebrating the work of 2022. And you need to get out. If you love this business and you love cabaret, get to the awards, and then you'll be able to see Ricky receive his Lifetime Achievement. Ken Page is receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's enough. That's enough of a reason to get down to the Symphony Space. And I'd have one last question.
And I hear there's a bar.
I wanted to say the baton has been turned over to Amy Woke and Michael Kirk Lane. They are directing the show. And I do have one last question for you, and that is, did you pay the premium on your life insurance policy? So we know.
Scott with the incisive questions.
You get a Lifetime Achievement Award, and then I don't know. Anyway,
you got to be prepared. I know.
You got to be prepared. You got to be prepared. Listen, Ricky, it's been a thrill to have you with us here. I'm looking forward to the show. Tony, are you going to come with me?
I haven't been asked yet, Scott.
You're coming with me. You have to get down there. And by the way, for all of those that know the Symphony Space and know about the MAC Awards, sometimes it's been in restaurants, sometimes it's been in nightclubs. This is an actual theater space. But the good news from what I hear from my, the word of mouth is that the bar will be open, which, look, 2-drink minimum.
They're still having, they still have a lot of restrictions. Massive.
Oh, yeah? You have to be 21.
Well, it's a union house, so I think they have to be very careful,
Good. As long as I have my flask, I'll be good. Ricky, I love you. Get everybody in. We're going to try and get people into that show. Looking forward to it. And Jim Lazar, by the way, too, one of the best directors. I don't know how many MAC Awards he's lost.
He is 4.
Listen, Tony's got one right behind him there. Tony, show me a MAC Award.
Yes, my cherished, right there, right by my E.
That's for Piano Bar Live, which we did last year. Here, I got 2
Nice.
of them too. Here, let me show you these.
Uh-oh.
I'm ready.
Oh, see, it's show and tell.
These are the old school Bev Knapp's ones. I use one of them, by the way, when I'm making the veal cutlets. But look, life goes on. It's all good. I love you very much, Mr. Ritzel, and welcome Mac to the new age and the future for cabaret ahead.
Thank you.
Here.
Have a great one.
You too.
All
So
right.
good to see you, and congratulations.
Yeah.